screen. Okay. You can go ahead, Caylin.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Caylin. I am the broadcast advisor, if you aren't already aware. And you can go ahead and introduce yourself, I guess.
Hey everyone, I'm Giana. Oh,
No,
wait.
I was waiting for you.
Okay. Hey everyone. I'm Giana and I am the vice president of print.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Savannah. I am a CAU alum. I graduated in 2018. I was a journalism major, and I am currently the home assistant editor at Apartment Therapy.
Awesome. So, I guess we can go ahead and just get right into it. We have like a little icebreaker to start it off. So, our first question would be, what song or movie would you use to describe your life during the pandemic and why?
During the pandemic,
Yes.
um, I think, wow, that was a good question. Uh, Movie, I guess, wow, I don't know. What is a song that I really like? I think a song that maybe describes my life during the pandemic would maybe like uh living my life like it's golden. I don't know. I'll just be at home, really happy at home. I've always loved being at home, and so I just be like chilling. Um a mo I don't know. I guess, well, it's not a movie, but it's a TV show. I would say like Sex in the City, I guess, because I am at home on my computer writing all the time, and so I feel kind of fabulous. Like I'm literally just like at my home office on my computer, just like writing away. So, movie slash TV show probably like Sex in the City.
Awesome. Awesome. I have been binge watching that this whole pandemic over and over
I
again.
love Sex in the
Totally
City.
feel that. I love that too.
Yes, I'm Carrie Bradshaw.
Most definitely.
Yes, I can see that. Okay. So, while at Clark Atlanta, you have multiple internships across different companies. How were you able to secure those internships for yourself? What steps did you take, especially with crafting your resume and cover letters?
Well, I think the best thing I did when crafting my resume was always keeping it up to date, and so I was never caught lacking, for a lack of better words. Like if anybody was ever like, "Do you have a resume on hand?" I say, "Yes, right here in my bag." Like I always had like a few copies printed, and I always had copies like digitally available, just like in my Google Drive and my email address. I literally just like saved as a draft in my email, so I can just like I'll send it to you right now, like from my phone. So I always had my resume ready. I put everything that I ever did on there. So, that one internship, but it was only like a couple of months and I didn't get paid. That's an internship. That one time where somebody asked you to plan this event, and I thought I actually planned the entire event, like that goes on your resume too. Like anything that I had responsibility in, I made sure that I put on my resume. So it accurately depicted everything that I was qualified to do, and how I got my internships. I was constantly applying. And so people always are like, oh my God, you have 15 internships. Like, yeah, but you don't know how many I applied to, like I applied to like probably 10 opportunities a week. And when I say opportunities, internships, fellowships, assistant jobs, like anything that could just like get my foot in the door, I was always applying for it. I work studied in the career and development office, and before I work studied there, I was just like always there. Um, just asking them what opportunities they had and telling them like, hey, I'm readily available to do anything you need a CAU student for. So just kind of like keeping my name out there. So keeping my name out there, always applying for opportunities and keeping the resume on hand.
Did you ever do like multiple internships at once? Like that's my issue right now. It's like I already have an internship, but then another one, it just called me for an interview during the same spring semester. Like, were you ever able to do two at the same time?
Oh yeah, I think, well, Amelia has graduated, but Amelia and Gianna will tell you like I'll do everything. Like I had two internships every semester and then one every summer. And my last semester of college, I had a job an internship, and I was running, no, I actually had a part-time job, was in school, and ran an internship program. So you can do anything, like I literally would just tell them, hey, I have another intern, like I'm a college student, like what do you want me to do? Like I have two internships, but I'm more than willing to dedicate time to you. I'll just give you my schedule and then we'll work from there. And you just have to be extremely organized with your time. But with that being said, just to speak frankly with you all, like I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke or anything like that, and I very seldomly went out. Like I did go out and have fun with my friends, but I didn't stay out till 3, 4 in the morning. Like at night, I was fixing up my resume, applying for something, trying to figure out how to put an internship program together for other students. Like I was very serious about my life and my career, and it showed through every aspect of my day, like not just school, not just work. Like it was just, my career was super important to me. So I worked at Bar Taco on Northside Drive while I was also in school, and interning at CBS 46, and interning at the Huffington Post. So like you can definitely do two internships, but you have to be super organized with your time.
Most definitely. So another question that we had was, in what ways would you say mentorship help contribute to your success, and how have you been able to maneuver through the media industry?
Um, well, I'll give you an example. So one way I got an internship at CBS News, which probably was like one of the most pivotal ones for me, was I was in class, and I think it was in like theater, and don't do this. But I left class early because I was just not feeling it. I was like, this is dumb. I should not be here. Like it was like theater. Like you want to give me the act instead I'm leaving. So I left class early, and I was just walking down the promenade. And so, it's like mid class. And so there wasn't a lot of people outside. And I saw this guy walking around with this huge camera. And I'm like, he looks like he's filming a movie or something. So I just stopped him and asked him, I said, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, you work here? And I said, you, like jokingly, but like just making conversation. He's a black guy, maybe like mid 40s, like wasn't old, but was older. And he was like, I work for CBS, and I'm just here gathering some footage about some green books that are actually located in your school library. Like some of the few existing green books, I don't know if you know what they are, but green books from segregation are located in the library.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. And he was like, you're interesting. And he was like, I see students all the time and they never, just stop me and ask what I'm doing. But I'm a journalist and I'm curious. And this man's got a camera. So he probably works in media. I don't work in media. So I just asked him what he was doing. And, we got to talking. I told him I was a journalism major and that I wrote for the Panther and all the internships I had done. And at that point, I only had like 2 or 3. And he was like, you know what, you seem like a go-getter. Like you look sharp. Like I always was dressed to impress. So I always was dressed like I might have an interview that day, or I might see somebody important. And I was not well-dressed Wednesday all day, every day, but I just always looked presentable. Like I would never be embarrassed to talk to a professor or do an interview. And so he was like, CBS News has a great internship program, but it's located in New York. It's for like 3 or 4 months out of the summer, and the program application closes like Monday, and it was a Friday. He said, but if you can get application done today, I will absolutely refer you for the program. And I was like, you don't even know me. And he was like, but you have something. And he's like, I'm always looking to mentor students who like take themselves seriously. And I always have a resume on hand. So I gave him one, ran back to Brawley, filled out the application, submitted it that night, had my interview Monday, and I got the offer on Thursday. So like just putting myself out there, having my resume ready, and being personable. And like his name is Daryl Johnson, and he has always been a mentor to me like ever since. And like now that I'm older, like we'll like go well, he'll grab a drink, I'll grab a water. But like we'll go grab a drink, or like have lunch or something like that, or just like kind of meet up for coffee, just anything, the same way you do with any mentor, and just catch up. And he'll call to check on me, and it's a really good relationship. And he helped me. That's the only time he's ever helped me get a job directly, but anything that I've needed a reference for, he's always down. And so I try to be that. I said all that to say that mentorship is meaningful, and then I try to be that for other students who feel like, they look up to me, they need help with their resume, they just need a foot in the door. And Giana will tell you, like, if you ever need a reference for me and I know that you'll work hard, I'll give it to you. Like, you want me to look at your resume? I'll look at it. Like, whatever I can do to help you get to where I was, I'll do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Savannah has definitely served as a mentor for me, turn sister, turn friend. Like, yeah, she's definitely the GOAT for real.
Mhm. But
So,
that's how it should go. Like, you should be friends.
yeah,
Like, you should actually like the people that you mentor, you know?
Right.
definitely. So, after you graduated from Clark Atlanta, what was that transition like entering the real world? What was your first job, and how did that experience, along with other jobs, contribute to where you are right now?
I think my experience graduating was a little different because I graduated in December instead of May, so I didn't have that like awkward summer phase. My last internship when I graduated was at CNN, and oh, excuse me. And I actually was interning at CNN News Source Digital. So I was just a digital desk at CNN working with affiliates, and it was, just an internship. And I think my internship started in like late August, early September, and I kept telling everybody like, hey, I don't have a job yet, so if you like me, I'm staying. And they always thought it was funny, but I was like, I'm not kidding. But I feel like I always like put myself out there as like, I'm so smart and I'm cool, I'm the best, you should hire me. But then also I'd like back that up with my work. So I would say things like that, but then also ensure that I showed up early, stayed late, and overachieved. And so after like a month and a half of interning, the senior director was like, you're pretty good and we need help. So do you want to stay? And I was like, full time? And she said, well, we don't have any like salary roles available yet, but you can be a freelancer, meaning they just pay me hourly. Well, at CNN it's daily. So they just pay you a flat rate for the day, and they just put you on the schedule the same way that they do their full-time employees, but you don't have like salary, benefits, contract, things like that. So my first job out of college was working as a senior producer at CNN Digital, working as a freelancer, making $35 an hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was my first job. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Right.
Um, so to answer the second half of your question, like how did that set me up for other jobs? It was 280 a day, but I did the math. So 280 divided by 8. And so okay, that's $35 an hour. And so moving forward, I worked at CNN for like almost 2 years. So moving forward, I never accepted less than $35 an hour for anything. Because I was like, well, somebody paid me that. So that means that's what I'm worth.
Right.
And I have my degree and I'm smart. So I just started setting my base rate as $35 an hour.
Mhm.
And that's what I've made so far.
No, that's awesome.
Mm.
So, what made you decide to make that transition from doing news at CNN to working with student filmmakers at Campus Movie Fest?
Um, I don't want to shoot anybody's dreams down if CNN is like your ideal place to work, because it might be for you. But I feel like I've always been an overachiever. So when I got there, it everybody kept telling me like, "Oh, you made it. Like that's it. Like CNN, like you're a journalism student, and now you work at CNN." And I was just like, okay, like it just wasn't, I didn't feel like I was dreaming. It wasn't as glamorous as I anticipated it to be. And it was a very serious environment. Everybody took themselves so seriously. And I was like, y'all need to relax. And it just didn't feel fun. I didn't feel joy every day when I went to work. Like I felt like the work I was doing was important because journalism is important. But I just thought that there would be a better use of my time and energy. And yeah, I just thought it would be a better use of my time and energy. So in August of 2019, I started looking for a job. Or no, August, I don't know. It was like a year after the fact. And so I started looking for a new job, and I was just like applying. I was at work applying for jobs. Like I saw Campus Move, I said, I've heard of this before and I get to travel for free. This might be cool. And so I was applying for jobs, and I'm gonna tell the truth, and Giana knows what happened, and I'm gonna tell y'all because I don't want to lie to y'all, and I want y'all to feel prepared for the real world. In October, it was around Halloween time, and I was doing a story about a giant pumpkin or something. I don't know, and it's hard to explain, but the work that I was doing at that time, I was attaching photos to stories that were on CNN.com. And so I was working on trending stories, which was like themes. So it's October, it's Halloween, it's pumpkins. And I was also doing political stories. And somehow, girl, a story about Donald Trump came up while I was doing the pumpkin story. And I accidentally attached the picture of the pumpkin to the Donald Trump story, or vice versa. I don't know. But there was a story about a pumpkin with a Donald Trump picture. And I put it up, and then I took it down like maybe 5 minutes later after I realized. And my manager was freaking out. Like, she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, why wouldn't you tell me?" I said, "I took it down, it's fine." And right then and there, I was like, "This is not the place for me. Like, they are tripping. It's just like too much." And I said, "It was a joke." Like, the girl sitting next to me thought it was so funny. And my manager was tripping. And it was just too much. And I had already started applying for jobs. So she pulled me to the side and she was just like, upstairs, like, they're worried, like, this might go viral and there's gonna be a thing. And I was just like, I need to move on. Like, I need to be somewhere else. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home. And she was just like, okay. And then the next day she called me and she was like, they're really concerned and they want to cut your hours and blah, blah, blah. And I said, we can just cut this whole thing. And she was like, all right. And that was it. And I left. And it was really like I was about to get fired. So I was like, I quit. And I just was like, you know what? I don't want to work here anyway. And I kind of just took that as an opportunity to like move on, but it wasn't the best thing to do because I didn't have another job yet. But they probably was gonna fire me anyway, so whatever. And so that happened in October, and literally in November, I got a call from Campus Movie Fest to interview to be their East Coast manager for the film festival. And I said, like, it was literally less than 30 days. And I said, that is a sign. If you feel like, it's not somewhere you want to be, you don't have to be there. And there's always something better around the corner. And so less than 30, I was not unemployed for more than a month. And they offered me the job, and I was a manager of the entire East Coast Festival, helping students create movies, and it was really fulfilling, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I got to travel for free. It was awesome.
Awesome. That sounds fun. I remember you had sent me something about it. I was like, she works for Campus Movie Fest? And that's how I had found out about it. I was like, okay, and girl, I went in applying it, whatever you told me to apply for.
Yes, it was a really drastic transition, like career wise, but I still felt like I was able to tell stories. I was able to help younger people, which makes me really happy. And it was like, dang, I get to be a mentor. I get to work in film. And my job, I was supposed to help them create the best films. And then the winners of each festival get to go to LA for the LA Film Festival. And then the winners from LA get to go to the Cannes Festival in France. So I was going to spend the summer in LA and then go to France for a couple of weeks. And I was just like, wow, I get to travel. I get to help other people realize their dreams and tell important stories through the lens of young creators. Like, it's exactly what I want to be doing. So it was really cool.
Awesome.
So, could you like go more in detail on what like your experience was like with Campus Movie Fest pre-pandemic? Like what it was exactly that you would do?
Okay, so I was one of two managers in a team of five on our tour. So there was like the West Coast tour, East Coast tour, Atlanta tour. So I never came to CAU because Alatra was the manager for the Atlanta tour. So she and her team came to the AUC and gave out the equipment and all those things. And so my job was to help coordinate the tour and make sure all the students had the equipment that they needed. So working in news and like entertainment for so long, I understood how to use the cameras, how to mic people up. I knew how to write a voci, write a script, and so help. And I even understood like sound design, like adding sound over videos, not just music or words, but like, if you drop a pin, like the sound that that's supposed to make. And it like news is just a movie with facts, like it's real and everything is factual. And so movies are actually like, a little more creative. So I had all of those skills. So my job was to go from city to city and go to different colleges, telling students about the opportunity, asking them what kind of stories they wanted to tell, help them write their scripts, help them shoot their movies, and then put on a film festival at their schools where we gave out prizes. They get to watch the movies and then hand out awards to the best student filmmakers. And I did that up until March 2020, until the pandemic hit. And then the tour ended because colleges were closing and we had to go home.
So how exactly did the pandemic affect you, like in terms of your career, good or bad?
Um, Maybe 2 months ago, I would have said that it was horrible and I hated it and it was just the worst thing that ever happened to me. But now, I mean, and I hate to speak about um, COVID like it was like a blessing in disguise. It's definitely not the virus, but I think quarantine and being stuck at home. So in March, the tour ended and we all had to come home. And I was shook, but I was like, you know what? We worked from home March and April, and then everybody got laid off May 1st. And I was like, I'm super responsible. I made so much money at CNN. Like, I have money saved. I'm fine. And I just was like, there's a few months left in the summer. I'll just vibe all summer. And then in August, this whole pandemic will be over with and I will go back to work. Yeah, it's so stupid. And so I thought like the pandemic would be over with and then we'd be back on tour. And in July, they reached out and they were like, the pandemic will be over no time soon. We won't be going back on tour. If you guys have to get other jobs, we understand. Best of luck. And that was it. And so it's July 2020 and I had no idea what I was going to do. um it's crazy because the only essential thing that I knew how to do was journalism and I was not trying to go back and do that. And I was like, if I worked at CNN I still have a job, but I wasn't trying to settle. And I feel like if I went back to doing exactly what I was doing before, I would just be settling just to have a job, and I'm too good for that. And I just didn't want to do that. So I was like, you know, I have money saved. I will do what I gotta do. So as a hustler who has always like made money, I said I gotta do something. I'm gonna do Instacart. I did Instacart for a week. I said, "Woo, child, I am too cute for this." I said, "I am too cute. I am lazy. I am smart. I cannot do this." And not to say anything is wrong with those type of jobs, but it's like after you accomplish so much and you feel like you've reached a certain level in life, there are just certain things that you won't do. And Instacart was one of them. I did it for like 7 days and I called my grandma crying. I said, "Grandma, I can't do this." I just couldn't go. I couldn't deliver other people's groceries. So I had to do what I do best and I had to figure it out. And so I said, have this resume, put it out there. So I started reaching out to mentors, people I used to write for freelance, and said, "Hey, I'm in the market for a job. You need a writer?" And they're like, "Yes, we'd love to have you back on staff." And I started freelance writing again. I started being open about my situation to friends and former mentors. And one friend who used to be my manager before, but she's like 30 something, so we're not that far apart in age. So she was like, "Oh, I use something called Upwork, and it's a website where people can hire contractors to do random things. Like they hire copywriters, resume writers, web developers, all types of things." And I said, "I'm a good writer. I'll put myself out there as a writer." And someone reached out and they needed copy written for their website, like a little about page, a little bio, things like that. I said, "I'm a writer. I could do this." And they paid me $250 just to write their professional bio. And I said, "Okay, I could do this." And so I started researching other opportunities. And while I was in college, like half of my internships were PR internships because I was interested in public relations. I thought it was cool, thought it was real flashy. And so someone reached out to me about needing PR done for a virtual film festival they were doing. It was in like September. Oh, excuse me, it was in September, and the guy was like, "Hey, I own this company called Miniflix. It's like Netflix, but for short films, like for independent short films who are not, that were not produced through major production companies." And so he was like, "Hey, I know you used to work for a film festival and you used to write for CNN because like you put all your experience on the website. So every internship, every job was all laid out on my like profile on the site." And he was like, "Wow, I think your experience with this film festival, PR and writing, I think you'd be a great publicist for me like for the next couple weeks." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. What's your budget?" And he was like $60 an hour. I said, "Yeah, I could." I said, "Yeah, sure. I could do it." So I took that job. And then I was like, somebody will pay me $60 an hour, I'm taxing. So I was like, well, my prices are going up. So my range is now $35 to $60 an hour. And then I just started like getting contracts back and forth. And I just kept going and just kept getting contracts and freelancing. And the silver lining of everything was in that time I was like stuck at home. So I was like, let me redecorate. Like we had just moved into a 2-bedroom, 2-story townhouse. We, as in my partner and I, and we live in a townhouse. And I said, we have furniture, but it's like ugly. And there's just I just was like, I have better style than this. And so I just was like, let's like redecorate. And by let's, I mean me, because he doesn't care. And so I started redecorating and I loved it. And I started like posting pictures on Instagram. And then I was like, I love to write. I want to write about what I want to write about. I'm going to start a blog. I don't have anything else to do. So I started a blog and it kind of just picked up from there. And that's how I ended up getting my job at Apartment Therapy, as a home assistant editor, literally writing about interior design, style, home renovation, things like that. And it's like a dream job. Like, and I would have never realized my passion and love for interior design, home lifestyle content, things like that, if I hadn't been at home by myself all day redecorating and just assessing my space and realizing how important home is and how we should value it and make it reflect our style. So I think that quarantine, the pandemic itself sucked, but quarantine led me to the dream job that I have now. So for that, I have to be a little grateful.
Yeah, I think that's so important to recognize what you were saying about how, apartment therapy was like your dream job and you never really realized that.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of people ask me, about like what I would want to do in the future, like I don't know specifically what I'll end up doing because like through talking to my mentors, I realized there's so many jobs within journalism and communications.
So
Like
many.
you would think you want to do one thing and then you start putting your passion towards what you want your career to be and you find a whole new job that you never had even thought of before.
I thought I wanted my life to be like being Mary Jane.
Yes, I think
And
all the time.
I literally was
Me
like, I'm
too.
gonna be Kara. Like, I'm gonna be Kara and I'm gonna be a producer and I'm gonna have my headset on. I'm gonna be in the control room. I just thought like that was it. And then I get all these other opportunities and like stumble upon my love for something else. And now I literally am an editor. So I'm able to write, edit, interview people, all types of stuff. But the content is centered to what I love, and it's not just hard news and pandemic coverage, which is like crazy that they pay me to do this. It's awesome.
So not only are you working at apartment therapy and muse makers management, you're also currently pursuing your master's degree at Harvard. So
Mhm.
we have a few seniors in our chapters. So what made you want to go to graduate school?
I started graduate school in December 2019. So I think I started thinking about it while I was unemployed for like 48 hours. And I was just like, well, maybe I don't have a job. Maybe I'll just go to grad school. And I'm like, that is not good. So, one thing I would say is don't just decide to go to grad school because you don't have a job. Like, might as well. Like, that's not a good reason. And then I was just like, well, I don't have a job right now. And I feel like I stumbled upon the job at CNN because I was interning there, but would they have hired me otherwise? And what would make me the most marketable? And so during my time at CNN, I spoke to a lot of people who worked there, and almost all of them had worked at like 2 or 3 other places before they got there, and they all had master's degrees. And so I said, I really want to make myself competitive. I want to be making 6 figures before I'm 30. I don't want to be a person who peaked in college. Like Savannah was so cool in college. She did so much, and then she graduated, and it's just like whatever. Like I didn't want to be like that. So I said, how can I continue to go above and beyond in my career and like just keep showing up and showing out? And I was like, I'm gonna get my master's degree. And I said, but if I'm gonna get it, I'm not going to DePaul online. I said I'm gonna try to go to an Ivy League school or like something like big name. I said I wanted it to be flashy, and I wanted my resume to look popping. I said I went to a HBCU in Atlanta, which is like very exciting, and people are always like, oh, you went to Clark Atlanta, that's cool. So I just really wanted to continue that, keep that same energy up on my resume and my life personally. And yeah, so I just decided to go for that. So I started looking at programs, and Harvard wasn't like my first choice. I was looking at Princeton, Cornell, Yale, places like that. And Harvard was the place that seemed most affordable to me at the time. And they had the best entry program because I didn't want to take the GRE or whatever the test is called. And it's 100% online. And so it just kind of checked all the boxes for me because I'm never moving to Boston. So I just kind of like checked all of my boxes. And I was just like, it's Harvard. I can go to Harvard. And I just made up my mind.
So what was like that process like when preparing and applying to Harvard? Like was it a very long process? What were like some of the things that you had to do?
No. So here's a Harvard hack. They have certification programs and degree programs. And so to get certified, like get certified in something from Harvard. So something you'll notice when you graduate is that some people have degrees and some people have certifications. And so a certification is obviously a piece of paper that you can earn after taking X amount of classes, doing X amount of hours. It really depends on the institution that you are studying at. So Harvard's program is like if you take, excuse me, 4 courses like designated to a certain area, you can earn a certification in this. And a lot of people do it to increase their, professional earning potential, to segue into graduate degrees. Some people do it solely just for as a bump up on LinkedIn. Like, it really depends. And there are a lot of certification programs that are free, like literally take a class. There's like 48 hours to complete. You can do, like, you have to do 48 hours, but you can do it over as much time as you like, and then you're certified in digital marketing or copywriting or whatever. And so Harvard has a program where you can complete the certification courses, and if you receive a B plus or higher, so I think that's what, a 3.5 ish, or higher in your courses, then you're kind of like automatically accepted into the master's program. But you have to excel in the certification courses, and then you have to like technically apply and like pay the fee and everything. But they're just gonna say, oh, she's already a student here, she's taking our certification courses. Oh, she's got a 4.0. Okay, cool. And then you just keep going, and then you like go on and get your master's degree. So that's what I did, because let me tell y'all something. I did not have the best GPA at CAU. And that is one of many things that Giana and Amelia have done so much better than I, is they took school so seriously and had like the best grades ever. And I think I graduated with like, I don't know, 2.2. It sucks. So don't judge me. But I graduated with a really bad GPA. So applying wasn't going to work. Probably wasn't going to get in. So I had to find a way or make one. So that's what I did. So I just took certification courses, did that, got my certification. It's around here somewhere. And then I just kept going, and now I'm about to get my master's.
Awesome.
So, as a storyteller, what are some of the benefits you have found in pursuing your master's degree?
Well, my certification was in digital storytelling, and the master's degree will be in digital media design. So I don't know why they threw that design on the end of there, but you take like photography classes, graphic design, video writing. There's literally a class that I'm about to take called video storytelling for social media, like literally how to record the best videos just for social. So there's a bunch of cool classes to take, but in my one of my earlier classes, I think it was called feature writing, and we had to write long form features interviewing people, and it was like mid pandemic. Everybody was like stressed and just trying to survive, but we still had to find ways to connect with strangers because it couldn't be anybody you knew, and interview them and then tell their story in 3,000 words or less. And that really pushed me to step outside my comfort zone. It pushed me to really listen in order to tell, because you can tell somebody you know story, like you kind of know them already, so it's easy to fill in the details. But it really pushed me to connect with people. And in journalism, you usually are taught to keep it short and sweet, but in feature writing, I really got an opportunity to truly tell their story without being like intellectually burdened by a word count, which was very helpful. So I met some amazing people at Harvard, and all the classes are online. So some people are in the UK, some people are in LA, some people are in the islands. One lady was in Japan. Like people are all over the place, and we all coming together to study the same thing at Harvard. And everybody was super supportive. And one thing that also really like stood out to me was that some of my classmates were either like did not even have journalism degrees. Like one of my favorite classmates who's so cool, his name is Jag. He used to be the chief financial officer at JP Morgan, like Chase Bank. And he said that he hated his job, and like the corporate ladder, climbing the corporate ladder sucked. He was like this 40-year-old white dude from England or something. And he just, no, he had Australia. Australia. He was so silly, and he just thought I was so cool because I worked at CNN. Like he thought I was super cool. He was like, "You have a journalism degree, like you're already a journalist." And I learned a lot from him because he was older. He had all these experiences, but still decided that he wanted to be a journalist and he wanted to be a storyteller. And he was like, "You know what? I have a degree in finance. I'm gonna get my master's from Harvard in digital storytelling, and I'm gonna be a journalist too." So like anybody can tell a story. You just have to be passionate about it. And meeting all those people really inspired me to like keep telling stories in the best way that I know possible.
That's awesome. How
It
you
was
were able
so
to
cool.
meet so many different people. That's super cool. How would you say that Clark Atlanta has helped prepare you for the career you have today and even personal development?
Um, Going to school, y'all all go to Clark Atlanta. So I would say going to Clark Atlanta definitely prepared me to be able to handle anything. The life does not surprise me at all. Like you got to just kind of catch things as they come at you. But it really taught me to be prepared. People at Clark Atlanta, not even just something as small or superficial, like the way people dress, like they really come to school, like showing out. But like people were really like getting internships and like on Wall Street and like spending the summer in New York City interning and doing all of these really cool fire things. And I was just like, people, everybody around me at Clark Atlanta or in the AUC in general just seemed to be very impressive and very competitive. And I was just like, you know what? We are all Black and we are all showing up and showing out and taking these internships. And we are one of the only Black students there and really representing for the AUC, for HBCUs, and for CAU in general. And it made me want to show up like that in my everyday life. And so, with the job I currently have, I am one of two Black people on an editorial team of like 12 or 13. And we
Mhm.
both just got hired. So, before it was just all white people. And it really kind of, I never feel inferior. I never feel like I shouldn't speak. I never feel less than or intimidated at all because like I went to Clark Atlanta and there was Black excellence all around me. So being in a room or a Zoom surrounded by white faces does not intimidate me at all because I'm just as smart, if not smarter than everyone around me. And I always feel like that.
Definitely. So, knowing all of what you know now, what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self personally and professionally?
Professionally, I tell myself to keep going. At 20, I probably was a little anxious and probably wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing because you're your biggest critic. So I really was certain points in college where I was like, "Am I doing enough? I need to do a little bit more." And I would just tell myself like, "Relax and keep going. Like you're doing just fine." Because I would like beat myself up sometimes. It was really lame. Um, and personally, I'd probably tell myself um, what would I tell my 20-year-old self? Mm, I guess guys will be there. I think I dated healthily, but obviously there were certain situations where I would let a romantic relationship bother me more than it should have, or giving it too much energy. And not a single guy that I even called myself liking in college I talk to anymore. Like I'm literally in a relationship with someone who didn't even go to school in the AUC. So like why give it so much energy? Like why give it so much time? Like ain't none of these boys giving me a job, paying their bill, like paying no tuition. Like, why give it so much energy? And I would tell guys this same exact thing. Like, why give it so much energy? Like, you can like people and go on dates with people and even be in relationships without giving it all of your energy. Like you should give yourself and your career just as much energy as you give trying to find somebody to go on a date with. Like it's not that serious. Like you need to graduate and get a job. Like I just would tell myself to relax and that dating will come later. Cause I literally met the love of my life maybe 1 month before I graduated. And he didn't even go to school in the AUC.
So, with all of your accomplishments, who would you say influenced you to become who you are today?
My
Like
grandma.
your grandma?
Yes, my grandma was the executive director at her job for 20 years. She worked there for like 35. She was executive director when she retired. She's making six figures and she just worked her way up. And any positive affirmations that I have about myself, she either said them to me or around me. And just making it very clear that I didn't excel in spite of being Black. I excelled because of it. And everything good about me is because of me and no one else. Like the other people around you don't make you amazing. Like you're amazing. She always told me to uh, read what I see, like not skip over words when I'm reading, and to don't, skip over things in life either, like don't skip any steps, and to put my best foot forward. And she literally inspired me in every way possible. That's my girl. I talk to her every day.
That's so sweet. So we're actually about to enter the Q&A portion so our members
Okay.
can get a chance to ask you their questions. And so our first question is from Ashley. She has two questions actually.
Okay.
So the first one is, what would you recommend for young journalists to do to strengthen their art?
Um, just I would say keep creating. Like I said, I created my blog, and I'm kid you not, I think the most views I ever saw on the back end when I would check, I didn't check often, but the most views I would see like on a blog post was maybe like 54. Like people weren't, I wasn't getting that much traffic on my site. I wasn't monetizing it. Nobody's paying me to write that blog, but I wrote it anyway. If I post pictures of myself on Instagram or me and my boyfriend, I would get like 300 likes. But if I posted a picture of my room or like something that I decorated, I might get like 50, 60 likes. Um, and like I could just tell that people weren't like super interested. It seemed like people weren't super interested in like me posting about my decorating skills, but I liked it. And I thought my room looked kind of cute, so I left the picture up, and I didn't care how many likes it got, and I just kept putting myself out there. And even though I didn't see that many likes on the post, people would DM me all the time asking where I got things, asking to help them decorate their spaces, telling me they love my blog, and having 2 or 3 people reach out saying that they appreciated my content meant more than having 500 likes, knowing that like somebody actually found inspiration. So just keep creating, because in my job interview at Apartment Therapy, um, the managing editor who interviewed me told me she loved my blog.
Oh,
Like she literally was like, I really like your blog. Did you design this yourself? I was like, yeah, girl, I just got on Wix one day. I was bored and have anything to do. And I designed it myself. And she's like, so you do web design too? You're amazing. And I was just like, oh, I mean, yes, I web design. Yes, I do. But I designed my own blog and everything. And I thought no one was reading it. But one of the editors at Apartment Therapy read it and thought I was a good writer, and they offered me a job. So keep creating, Ashley, is what I would say. People are watching. Somebody is watching, and whoever needs to see it is gonna see it.
And so the second part to her question was, what are some companies you wish to work for?
Oh, Oprah magazine. I want to work for O magazine. I really enjoy like create like fun creative content, like home and lifestyle, style, food, kitchen, love to eat. So yeah, anything like just like fun like that. So O magazine for sure. I'm not sure if you guys know who Joanna Gaines is, or if you like watch HGTV, but one of my favorite shows on there is Fixer Upper, and this, or if you watch Dream Home Makeover on Netflix. And so Joanna Gaines and like Shay McGee, they are designers who started off just like designing their own spaces, then moving on to other people's spaces, then started like design companies, and now they have a line of like home decor at Target, and they own TV shows. And I would definitely like to have a line at Target. A line of what? Like home decor stuff. But I would definitely love to have a line at Target and work at O Magazine and possibly have a show on HGTV.
that's awesome. So Kenyatta also has a question. So she asked, how is it writing for apartment therapy? How did that position happen for you?
Okay, well, told you guys how it happened. But more in depth, like I saw um well, actually, I found the job working as a publicist. Like I work at Muse Makers Management as a PR coordinator. So I get publicity for our clients, and one of our clients is a celebrity home organizer, and a writer reached out to me because I'm a publicist. Sometimes they reach out to me, and a writer reached out and said, "Hey, I'm looking for an organizer." Um, she just reached out to like a group of publicists. Like we have like a group, and she reached out to the group and said, "Hey, does anyone have any professional organizers for a story that I'm writing for apartment therapy?" And I was, "Oh, I read apartment therapy." So I pitched my client for that opportunity, and then I was just looking at apartment therapy's website, and I was just like, "Wow, this is so cool!" Like I follow them on Instagram. Like this would be great. People work here. I wonder what kind of jobs they have open right now. And I went, saw the job. I said, I can do this. So I know I've never worked in home and lifestyle, but I could work here. And I just applied, and I applied the day before Thanksgiving, and they called me the day after to interview me.
Wow.
So it happened really fast. And then the whole process, like, they took off work between like Christmas and New Year's. So the process kind of like slowed down by then. Uh,
Mhm.
but I got the job offer in January. And I started January 19th. So I haven't even been working there that long.
Wow.
But
Such
writing for them is fun.
So Ashley had another question. She wanted to know how/when did you know you wanted to become a journalist?
Um, I think when it was time to go to college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to major in. I thought I was going to be like an English major and then write. My grandma was like, you always write. You're always such a good writer. I said, yeah, but like writing is easy. I want to do something different. Like that was so stupid. Like if you're good at it and it's easy, you should just do it. But I was just thought that writing was too easy and I wanted to challenge myself. I was like, maybe I'll be a PR major and I'll be like a publicist, or I don't know, like we'll see. I said, I know I want to study media, but I wasn't sure what to study. And then I said, I don't necessarily want to make movies. And I just kind of like narrowed it down, and journalism seemed like the best thing to do. I said, well, can't stop talking. I always have a lot of questions. I like to write. Maybe journalism is the way to go. And yeah, it was just kind of like a no-brainer to me. And then I started doing research, and I realized that a lot of journalists become publicists and publicists work with journalists. So I figured if I majored in one, I could always do the other. So I decided to major in journalism and then do PR, like if I felt like it, I guess.
So Kenyatta had another question. She wanted to ask, how did you have imposter syndrome while applying to Harvard? If so, how did you overcome that?
No. Who am I? What? No. No, I'm just kidding. I did not have a imposter syndrome. Why not me? Like what reasons do I have not to apply? Like there's literally no reason for me not to apply to Harvard. There was no reason why someone else could get in and I couldn't. And like even if my GPA stopped me, like I've tried to find another way in, but you just really have to ask yourself like why not you? And there's really no good
So I was
reason.
like, but I was like, let me walk outside, and she didn't take a nap after that. So I was like,
Ashley,
dang,
your
she must be tired.
your
Okay.
mic
Oh,
is
I'm
on,
so sorry.
Ashley. It's okay.
Okay. But yeah, no, there's no reason that I can't do anything. And I've always felt like that. But those affirming words have always been spoken into me since I was very young. So I've never felt like there was in a room that I could like walk myself into. So no.
So Kiana, she wants to know what was the name of the app/website that you used to put your resume out there?
It's called Upwork. So it's just UP work, all one word. And you have to make a profile, set yourself up as like, you can say, I'm a copywriter, I'm a resume writer, I am a film producer, like whatever you are. And then you didn't actually put your resume up. Like they literally ask you to write like company, title, job description. And you have to write everything down, the date. Like the job application is long, but it's worth it because when companies or individuals are looking for a writer with 1 to 2 years of experience who charge less than $50 an hour, your like name will pop up, and then they'll see you amongst everybody else and be able to compare your profiles. So the more you put in your profile, the more impressive it is that you look, and you can set your hourly rate. So I set mine at $35 an hour. Um, and so people who couldn't afford to charge that much didn't reach out, or sometimes they did and they would ask to like negotiate. But more often than not, only people who had budgets of $35 an hour or more were the ones who reached out. So you can kind of set your pay rate and your hours and everything. Yeah, so I'll call Upwork. I highly recommend it.
Super cool. So Jamila wanted to ask, what is some advice you would give someone who's starting their freelance journalism career while in school?
Keep your pitches original. Do your research. So if you want to write for a website, because right now people are pitching me to write for apartment therapy. I'm like, we just wrote that. Like, did you not look? So if you have an idea of something that you want to write about, check that company's website and literally just do like a word search, a keyword search, and see if they have written about what your pitch is. And if they have not, then you can open that door and like pitch that. When you send pitch emails, keep it short, please. Do not. I think I probably did this when I was in school, so I'm gonna just tell y'all, don't send super long emails. Like, my name is so and so, and I am a current graduating senior from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University with the major in, like, please, like, just, hi, I'm a senior at CAU. And you can literally just like hyperlink Clark Atlanta if they've never heard of it, but just like, I'm a senior, or you can type out Clark Atlanta University, but I'm a senior, journalism major at CAU. Here are a few pitches. I love your content. I'd love to write for you. Let me know what you think. Like, literally keep it short and sweet, because editors do not have time to read your 5 paragraph emails. Like, obviously be formal, be personable. You can be warm, but just don't be so long winded. And include a couple of pitches. Like, a good pitch should probably be like the headline and maybe 2 to 5 sentences of what your idea is about. But now I was thinking maybe we could write a story about, like, the pitch should be well thought out, or a complete thought. So the pitch could be like, want to write about apartment therapy. Like, a one story I'm working on right now is things I wish I knew before decorating my first apartment. And so when I pitched it to my editor, I put X amount of things I wish I knew before decorating my first apartment. When I moved into my apartment, I had no decorating style, didn't even know what it was. I want to write this article for people who are looking for their first apartment and don't know how to decorate. And like, that was my pitch. And she was like, that sounds good, write that up. But I didn't say, so I moved into my apartment in like December 2020, and I didn't really know, like, I just like put the pitch out there as a fully formed thought, so that it cuts down on the time that the editor has to try to figure your pitch out. And you can send multiple pitches in one email. So yes, multiple pitches, keep your email concise, make sure that the idea is fully formed and thought out, and ask them what their rates are up front. You're welcome.
That is some very good advice. I will be using that when I pitch to these
Good.
editors.
Good.
So that was our last question from our members in the chat. We want to thank you so much for coming to speak with us. We truly enjoyed the conversation. We always love you.
Yes, I love you guys. I love NABJ.
Yeah. And so, Caylin, did you want to say anything before we leave?
Yeah, just I appreciate you coming to speak with us. As soon as I said Savannah, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I love Savannah!"
I'm
So
glad.
apparently, everybody loves you, and we appreciate your advice so much.
I'm glad. I really if you guys ever have any questions, you can always reach out. I try to be diligent about responding to DMs, and I might have to send you an audio message if I don't want to type everything out, but I try to be very diligent about responding to people. If you actually want to like send me your resume, you can email me. I give you my personal because my work email gets flooded. My personal email, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I made this when I was in college. Don't judge me. It still says CAU. And then if you want to ask me like a quick informal question, I guess on Instagram is like, if you just want to talk or like ask for some advice, like you can just like message me on Instagram. And then if you actually want me to like look at your resume, or you want to like set up a Zoom call or something like really formal, you can email me. But I'm fine with either one. I don't think either is more professional than the other with the day and age that we're in. So, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
That just popped in my mind. I know some of you all are graduating, and even the ones who are not graduating, just give a little note about negotiating salary, like negotiating pay. I think that flat rates for freelance writing articles are usually set. So companies, like some companies pay 150 per article. Like it's just 150 and that's it. Or apartment therapy, we have a range. So we pay from $100 to $250 per story, depending on, how much effort it takes to write it, how many words we're asking for, if you have to interview multiple people. So it definitely depends. So I definitely would say ask for your rate up front, but flat rates for stories are usually non-negotiable. Like people have budgets, it's whatever. In regards to negotiating your salary, keep in mind what the median, or the average rate is for that job in that industry. And so, excuse me, if you want to be a publicist, like look at, when you graduate, you probably won't be a publicist as soon as you graduate. You'll be like a junior publicist or publicity assistant. So look at what is like the average that people make in that realm and think about how much experience you bring to the table. So if you're like, I have done 5 PR internships, I have my degree, and I've gotten my clients placed in XYZ, or I've done a lot, I deserve to be paid at least $20 an hour, then say that and stick to that and always ask for more, because when a company offers you a salary, they're not offering you the max that they're allotted for that role. So if you're interviewing for a job and they say, "Oh, well, we can offer you 40,000," and like 40,000 is not the most that they can, like the highest that they can go. That might be the lowest. It's just like what they really want to pay you. But you can say, actually, I was thinking more like 47,000, and they might say, okay, 45. And just it never hurts to ask, or they might actually say no, 40, or take it or leave it. And if you really want that job, you take it. But I was looking for a job, and in January, I got a job offer from CBS 46. And so I interned there when I was in college, and they had a full time role open for a content producer. So I was going to be working at the digital desk and the content center. And it was a really cool job. I get to be an assignment editor. I get to tell the reporters where to go. And when news breaks, it's crazy and it's exciting. And I interned there and I love it. But everyone that I knew that worked there was like either Black or Latina and left. Like they left because they didn't like the news director or whatever, they moved on. So it wasn't the same place anymore, but it's still CBS, have a place in my heart for them. So they ended up offering me a job like maybe a week before apartment therapy did, and they offered me $45,000 a year, and that's like 20 something dollars an hour. And I said, I have my bachelor's degree, I've got 3 years of experience, 14 internships, and I've worked here before. I don't think that's enough. Like they offered me 45, and I said that's just not enough for me. For someone fresh out of college, like $45,000 is a great place to start, but I felt like that was just too low for me. So I said, well, how about 50? Because I really, and it was like full benefits, but 14 days PTO. You also have to consider the benefits. So there's 14 days of paid time off, 2 sick days for the whole year, like two, you get to call in sick twice. So 2 weeks of PTO, 2 sick days, and full benefits like vision, health, dental, and 401k. And so I said, okay, all those benefits are good, but those are like standard benefits. So everybody gets those. The salary, I need the money, and they wasn't trying to give me the money. And I asked for 50, and the news director called back and he said, I can meet you halfway at 47.5. So I asked for $50,000, and he said 47,500. So I said, I gotta think about it. I want to work here, but we'll see. Apartment therapy called, so I emailed apartment therapy and I was like, hey guys, just want to let you know that I did receive another job offer. Apartment therapy is my first choice, but I need to know because I would like to start the new year with the job. And they were like, oh my God, we really want to finish the interview process with you. Like, when do you need to let them know? And I told them like a date when I had to let CBS know. We finished my interview process, and apartment therapy, they never asked me how much the other place offered me, but apartment therapy came out the gate offering me $60,000 a year.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was just like, see, if I would have just settled for less than what I wanted, then I would have been stuck. Apartment therapy easily offered me $10,000 more than what CBS did. And they have 20 days of PTO and unlimited sick days. So you just call in sick when you need it. And it's 100% remote. So I always get to work from home. So you really have to like assess the benefits and don't just accept a job because you are desperate, or, well, hey, I just need a job. So take the first job that people offer you. And I just told y'all how much money I make because I feel like keeping your salary a secret is just a way for employers to be able to pay people whatever they want to pay them. So if one of y'all go apply to CBS 46 for the same job and they offer you 30,000, that's not fair because the rate was 45,000, but they trying to offer you less because why? Because you just graduated. Like if the role is 45, then it's 45, and you need to be able to negotiate that. And I know that there's still some type of industry taboo about not telling people how much you make. And we Black too, so people don't like to talk about money. But I think it's important to hold companies and industries accountable to pay Black people what they're worth. So, if you have the skill set and if they say that it's about $45,000 a year, then that's how much it is. And I deserve to get paid more than that. And I was willing to settle for 50. And then the current job I have offered me 60. Or like at Muse Makers Management, like the PR agency I work for. I interviewed with her, and after like 10 minutes of talking, she was like, girl, you got the job. Tell my assistant how much your hourly rate is and she'll pay you. And I was just like, okay. In my interview, she never asked me what I charge because I met her on Upwork, and she never asked me how much I charge. She was like, just tell my assistant. So I told her assistant, I said $40 an hour because I really wanted 35, but I just tossed it up to 40 to see what she said. And she said, okay, great. You start on Monday. And so I have one job where I make $60,000 a year, another job where I make $40 an hour because I asked for it. Not because I didn't deserve it, not because I had to lie about anything, but because I deserve it and I asked for it. So if you have the degree and you have the experience, you deserve that money and you should ask for it. And if you ever need help negotiating your salary or anything like that, you can always DM me, you can always email me, and I will help you get the money. And that's it. I just want to make sure y'all know that. Don't sell yourself short because you deserve it.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Thank you for everything that you've been able to share with us, your experiences, the advice. We really do appreciate it all.
You're welcome. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And don't be afraid to reach out if you ever need anything. Everybody.
Definitely. Yes. So thank you again. Talk to you later.
All right. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow.
I know.
Bye.
Bye.